In a small Nigerian village, nestled among lush greenery and vibrant markets, lived a young woman named Amina. Her beauty was undeniable, with her deep brown eyes, radiant smile, and a heart brimming with faith. Yet, it was her unwavering belief in God's promise that truly set her apart. Amina had always been different. While other girls her age eagerly accepted suitors, Amina chose to wait. She held on to a vision, a divine promise that God had shown her one late night in her modest bedroom. Kneeling by her bed, with the room bathed in soft moonlight, she prayed with all her heart.
Lord, she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks, I trust in your promise. Show me the path you have laid for me. Baba.
As she prayed, a vision appeared before her. A man, standing by a river, holding a Bible, his face glowing with a light that spoke of peace and divine purpose. Amina knew in her heart that this man was the one God had chosen for her. From that night on, she vowed to wait for him, no matter how long it took. But in Amina's world, patience was a virtue often overshadowed by tradition. Her father, Baba, was a stern man, steeped in the ways of their ancestors. He believed it was time for Amina to marry and had already lined up several suitors. Baba sat in his favorite chair one evening, his tall, sturdy frame casting a shadow in the dimly lit living room. Amina, with her serene composure, stood before him, her heart pounding as she prepared to speak.
Baba, she began, her voice calm but firm, I believe God has shown me the man I am to marry. I must wait for him.
Baba's eyes narrowed, his frustration palpable. This is nonsense, he snapped, his voice echoing in the room. We have traditions, Amina. You cannot defy them. Amina's mother, Mama, who had been quietly listening from the kitchen, stepped forward, her gentle face full of concern.
Amina, she said softly, your father only wants what is best for you. But if you truly believe in this vision, you must pray for guidance. Zainab, Amina's older sister, who was already married with children, rolled her eyes and scoffed. Amina, you can't live on visions and prayers forever. You are not getting any younger.
Even Uncle Ibrahim, Baba's brother, weighed in, his stern voice adding to the pressure. Amina, your father is right. You need to marry soon, or you will bring shame to our family, her resolve unshaken. She knew deep within that her decision was the right one, even if it meant defying her family's wishes. As the days turned into weeks, the pressure from her family intensified. Baba became more insistent, arranging meetings with potential suitors, each one more suitable by traditional standards than the last. But none of them stirred Amina's heart. None of them matched the man from her vision. One day, Amina visited her friend Fatima, who was preparing for her own wedding. The house was filled with the excitement of the upcoming celebration, with beautiful dresses laid out and friends bustling about. As Amina watched Fatima try on her wedding dress, a pang of doubt crept into her heart. Fatima twirled in front of the mirror, her face glowing with happiness.
Amina, Fatima said, her voice gentle, are you sure you're making the right choice? Everyone says you're being too stubborn. Don't you want to be happy like this?
Amina forced a smile, but inside, her resolve wavered. What if they were right? What if she was holding on to a dream that would never come true? The thought weighed heavily on her heart as she returned home that evening. That night, Amina found herself staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with doubts. The temptation to give in, to marry one of the suitors her father had chosen, loomed large. But then, she remembered the vision, the man by the river, the peace that had washed over her. She knew she couldn't give up now. Sitting up in bed, she reached for her journal and began to write.
Lord, she wrote, her hand trembling, I feel so alone. My family pressures me, and I am tempted to give up. But I trust in you. Give me the strength to hold on to your promise.
As she closed her journal, a sense of calm washed over her, and she knelt to pray. In that moment, she felt her faith renew, her doubts quieted by the unwavering belief that God's timing was perfect. Weeks turned into months and months into years, and Amina continued to hold on to her faith. Then, one Sunday, everything changed. The village church was buzzing with excitement over a special guest speaker, a young man who had recently moved to the village to work with the church. As Pastor John introduced him, Amina felt a strange flutter in her heart. When the young man, Samuel, stepped forward, Amina's breath caught in her throat. There he was, the man from her vision. Samuel was tall and handsome, with a kind face and a gentle presence. He spoke with a sincerity that captivated the congregation, sharing his journey of faith and how God had led him to this very village. As he spoke, Amina felt an undeniable connection. She knew, without a doubt, that this was the man God had promised her. After the service, as the congregation mingled outside, Amina found herself lingering in the church courtyard, watching Samuel as he spoke with Pastor John. Gathering her courage, she approached them. Pastor John greeted her warmly, introducing her to Samuel. "Amina," Pastor John said with a smile, "this is Samuel, our new member." "Samuel, this is Amina, one of our most devoted members." Samuel turned to her, his eyes softening as he took her hand. "Hello, Amina. I've heard much about your faith and dedication." Amina blushed, her heart racing.
Thank you, Samuel. Your story was very inspiring.
They talked for a while, their conversation flowing effortlessly. There was a comfort between them, a sense of familiarity that neither could ignore. Before they parted, Samuel suggested they meet again to talk more, and Amina eagerly agreed. Over the next few weeks, Amina and Samuel spent more time together, their connection deepening with each meeting. They shared their hopes, their dreams, and their faith, discovering that their paths had been intertwined long before they met. Amina told Samuel about her vision, and to her amazement, Samuel revealed that he, too, had a similar vision before coming to the village. They both knew that their meeting was no coincidence, it was divinely orchestrated. But despite the joy and certainty in their hearts, there was still one challenge left: convincing Amina's family. Amina knew that Baba would be skeptical, perhaps even resistant. But she also knew that with Samuel by her side, they could overcome any obstacle. One evening, Amina brought Samuel to her home to meet her family. The atmosphere was tense as they sat in the living room, Baba's eyes scrutinizing Samuel. Mama, Zainab, and Abdul watched quietly, curious about this man who had captured Amina's heart. "So," Baba began, his tone gruff, "you are the man Amina believes God has sent for her." Samuel, unfazed by Baba's stern demeanor, nodded respectfully. "Yes, sir, I believe our meeting is divinely ordained. I promise to love and support Amina in all her endeavors." Baba's expression remained stern, but there was a flicker of curiosity in his eyes. "And what makes you so certain that you are the one?" Samuel took a deep breath, meeting Baba's gaze with unwavering confidence. "Because, sir, I had a vision, before I even knew Amina. A vision that led me to this village, where I knew I would find the woman God had chosen for me. And when I saw Amina, I knew she was that woman." There was a moment of silence as Baba studied Samuel, the tension in the room palpable. Then, slowly, Baba's expression softened. He looked at Amina, and for the first time, there was no frustration in his eyes, only a deep, paternal love. "If my daughter believes in you," Baba said finally, "then I will trust her judgment. Welcome to our family, Samuel." Mama smiled warmly, reaching out to take Samuel's hand.
Welcome, Samuel. You seem like a good man. Zainab, who had been skeptical before, now grinned and teased Amina. "Looks like you were right all along, little sister."
Abdul, always supportive of Amina, also said with joy, "I'm so happy for you, sister." Amina felt tears welling up in her eyes, overwhelmed by the acceptance of her family and the realization that her faith had been rewarded. She looked at Samuel, who smiled back at her, his eyes filled with love and gratitude. Their journey didn't end there. Amina and Samuel continued to serve their community, sharing their story of faith and divine timing with others. They became a beacon of hope in the village, their love a testament to the power of unwavering belief. On a bright, sunny day, during another community festival, Amina and Samuel stood hand in hand, now husband and wife, surrounded by friends and family who had once doubted but now celebrated their union. The village square was alive with music, laughter, and vibrant colors, a reflection of the joy that filled their hearts. As Amina looked around at the smiling faces, she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. Her journey had been long and filled with trials, but she had never walked it alone. Her faith had guided her every step, leading her to the man she had always dreamed of, the man God had promised her. And as she looked into Samuel's eyes, she knew that their love was just the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with faith, hope, and the unshakable belief that with God, all things are possible. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come to pass. It will not tarry. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3.